Hey guys, Grill Sergeant here. Today we have another chamber vac review. This is from a company called WeVac, and this is their CV12. Looks pretty clean, pretty sleek, and what I like most about it so far is just looking at the specs, it is lightweight, which my other chamber vacuum, I like pull out my back when I'm trying to use it. So let's unbox this thing now. Very similar to one of those like food saver things where, you know, it kind of sucks all the air out. But with this thing, a vacuum chamber is like a completely different animal. Ooh, fancy. All right. Accessories, power cable. Okay, that's really cool. There was one time I got like a chamber vacuum and like it didn't even give any bags to test it out on. I was like, oh. So I had to like get on Amazon and I was like, that's lame. That's really cool that they actually give you something to play out with. That's smart. Very, very smart. I like that. Now let's lift this thing out. Ooh. Just don't drop it, Andrew. Ugh. Let's check this thing out. First thing it says to do, and this is the seal bar, and that's basically just going to go right in here. So I'm just going to place this down. So you have this back little knob here. And so if you did have like some canning stuff, this attachment actually lets you hook that up so you can actually, you know, do canning and jarring outside the unit. That is pretty neat. I do have some jars that we're going to experiment for canning on the inside here. If you look into chamber vacs, you can get so creative with chamber vacuums. I've seen some people even make emergency kits for their car. They could take a few pieces of clothing and stuff like that, put in the chamber vac, and it brings all the air out. So you could put it underneath your car seat and then just have something in case of emergency. You have an extra change of clothes there. Tons of uses. Anything you could think of, you can pretty much chamber vac. So I say let's test it out. I'm gonna plug it in right here. There is a side switch on here, and that should bring life to this. So right here, what I like is you have SML, and up here at the top here, you basically have like what size bag you have. And so if it's a small bag, if it's medium sized, if it's large, that you can kind of customize it on there. So say we're using, you know, a medium bag. And then from here, you can also customize the vacuum time as far as like how much you want the vacuum chamber to run. And then you can actually, you know, you can click this if you're using the accessories thing here. This is how long, for the seal button on here, how long you actually want to make a seal to the bag. Once you actually close this lid right now, it will actually turn it on. If you, like me, are really into backyard barbecue, you know one of the most annoying things is you go to use your favorite rub and then this happens. All the rub, it gets like caked and stuff like that, and you're just like trying to like hit it, and still it breaks it up, but at the same time it's just like it's super annoying. You'll get like a knife in there and you try to like, you know, kind of break it all up. So this rub I vacuum chambered about 3 months ago, and there is absolutely zero clumping. Unlike your typical rub in the container that it came with, it gets caked up in here. That's because there is oxygen here and it's just kind of clumping everything together. So I figure, you know what we're going to do is we are going to test out. And I have another jar here. We're going to put some of this rub in here and we can test it out. So right now, let me give it a good shake, see if I can break a lot of this up. And now what I can do is I'm going to take some of our seasoning, put it in here, just like so. I'm going to put the lid right on top. That's all you need to do. So now what we're going to do is just going to close this thing down, and it's kind of like just set it and forget it. So right when you close it down, it's going to turn it on. And that is going to now hold down everything. So right now, the chamber vac is in use. Now it's sealing right now. And so now this, you're going to hear this sound. Ooh. There we go. And then once it beeps, that's saying it's done. I can lift this lid up. Our seasoning in a jar. We have our jar full of rub that I can then put both of these on the shelf. And whenever I need to use this rub again, if I were to grab this would still remain clumpy. And it's just that frustration thing. But now if I grab this, that rub will not clump up on me. My son yesterday made some avocado salsa. So amazing. Oh my gosh, this stuff was amazing on tacos. I'm gonna can this right now and save it for later. Now, the cool thing is, you could be thinking like, but Grill Sergeant, like, I want some big jars. And that is where this tool is going to come into play, that you can hook up to this hose, and then you can put the hose in here and then actually chamber vac outside the chamber vacuum. And so I'll be ordering some, definitely, just because, you know, if I make a big batch of barbecue sauce, you know, doing them in small little jars really isn't going to be, you know, beneficial, especially if I have a lot of barbecue sauce. So the fact that you can get lids for bigger jars and then actually hook up this unit, that's going to be definitely a game changer. So let me just can this up right now. Bye. Oh yeah, I got to turn it on. Duh. All right. So I'm going to turn it to that. And here we go. See you. This thing is cool. All right, now let's check it out. Ooh, there we go. Let me put on the lid. When I want some fresh avocado salsa, I can crack that thing open and get to work. Let's do some like chicken or something like that. I don't know, let's get crazy here. Woo! Now the cool thing is, if you ever are into marinating food, the chamber vac actually will speed up the process. So when the actual meat is under vacuum chambered pressure, all those pores in the meat actually open up. So if you have your favorite marinade, put some chicken in, and you do it in the chamber vac, you can literally cut down, instead of marinating for 12 hours, you could literally get the marinating done in like a half hour. It is very quick. So right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up this bag. I do like taking the bag and just kind of rolling. And now what I can do is kind of just put one chicken up in here. I got number 2, just like that. And you roll this up. And now into the chamber vac it goes. We're going to place it above the seal bar. So on here, I'm going to go under medium size for the medium size bag I'm using. And then all we're going to do is just close this down. All right, I'm going to lift this up. And here we have our chicken. And all the air is out of this bag. So if you're putting this in your freezer box, a lot of times if you're using a Ziploc bag, you'll get all that like frost buildup and stuff like that. But a chamber vac, it actually seals it up a lot better. So when you actually start freezing your meat, you're not going to get a lot of that frost in there. That's not the only thing WeVac sent us today. So let's do some more unboxing. So they also sent along some of their chamber bags. There's so many times where you'll put in meat and then you're like, whatever, I'll put it in the freezer. I know what that is. And you're like, I don't know what that is. So now if you can actually write on it, that's pretty cool. So I think this box gives you the 2 different sizes. Now, at the time of this recording, I have 0 clue how this works. I think I know how it works. It's pretty much a bag that you can kind of customize the length, but I'm like, I don't know how do you seal it? So it's going to be a journey right now. So let's open it up. Now it's saying do not remove this orange seal thing on here. So we're going to come up on top and open this up like so. And I believe this rips off just like that. You have 2 different sizes you can use. All right, so let's say I need that much. So I believe it will, whoop. I get it. I think you seal one end and then you could put, then you could do, okay, I got it. I figured it out. So we pull this out. We do our little slice. Beautiful. And so now I think on here, I think we're just going to do seal and not like the I've been kissed by a rose on the way. Ooh. Okay, so now what we're doing, and I believe if I close this lid, it's just going to seal. Or not. I just wanted the seal part. Oh, here we go. Okay, cool. So whenever you hear the 3 beeps, you can lift the lid. Ah, the kids are going to get a kick out of this. So hopefully Nickelodeon doesn't come after me on this one. But here's our little, little toy in here. And the crazy thing is this just, I mean, we're talking all the air. Like, Gone. Mama notes. So we're going to put this in here. And I just want to make sure that that goes over that seal thing right there. Perfect, just like that. I'm going to say this is going to be small. Get a good look at SpongeBob in here because he's going to look a lot different. Fire in the hole. All right. Oh, Mr. SpongeBob. Water. I need water. The funny thing is, this thing is rock hard right now. There is no air left in it all. One thing I did also notice on the roll kit is it has kind of like a glass sight on the side so you can actually see if you're running low on something. If you are looking at picking up a chamber vac and you're like, well, which one should I go with? They're both going to kind of have their pros and cons. I do like the roll sheet one because there's sometimes if I'm just, vacuum sealing something very small, it feels like you're wasting a lot of space. Whereas with the roll thing, you can customize the exact length you need. That's pretty handy. But if you do choose to actually go kind of with the individual bags, the two kind of plus sides to that is it does have a spot on here where you can kind of write what it is. And you do have like this kind of perforated, ready to tear thing. So on this one, there's not really a spot where you can actually go here and tear it. So you are going to need scissors or a knife to get into here. Whereas this one, you won't need any tools to actually rip this open. So they both kind of have their place depending on what you want to do. But those are going to be the two differences between the ones that are kind of just already ready to go and the ones that you can kind of customize the length you need. This was such a fun episode, and no joke, the WeVac is probably the best chamber vacuum I've ever used. It's cool now getting to play with a few. You can really know like, oh, what they're supposed to do, the strengths and weaknesses and stuff like that. I'm a fan. I'm sold on this one. I will put in the description, I do have a link to the product, and that link will also give you 15% off if you actually are interested in it. So not only does this thing come in at a very decent price, you also get a discount included with that too. So I really like the size of it. I like that I don't pull out my back when I actually lift this thing out. So this thing I believe is about 32 pounds. It is a lot better than holding some chamber vacuums that can get 60 to 70 pounds. So that being said, Grill Sergeant rating of approval. Love this thing. I'm going to get a ton of use out of it. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Grill Sergeant out.